right, so just last year, my wife and I converted this shuttle bus into a motorhome. So we are full-time travel vloggers, and the reason we chose to start traveling RV style rather than flying internationally is because we now have a beautiful baby daughter who we thought should be staying closer to Canada, especially when she's young, for her needle schedule, as well as being close to family for Christmas and everything like that. Now, speaking of family, right in front of us in traffic here is my parents, who are driving their fifth wheel trailer. So last November, the five of us, which is my parents, my wife, and my daughter, and I, we made a plan to travel in the United States in February. The reason we wanted to go to the States is because we wanted to basically escape the cold weather. My parents are retired now, and they wanted to enjoy some warm weather. We have 2 months on our schedule, which was February and March. And then in early April, we'll go back. So as you can imagine, this whole trip was planned long before Trump ever had a tariff threat, which has really evolved into a 51st state, annexation of our country. I believe one of the exact quotes of Trump's tweet is, "Canada is not a viable country," which is a lot more than a tariff threat. It's like a pretty, deeply personal critique of our whole place. So my point is, and the reason we're making this video is because Ivana and I have been getting absolutely trashed in the comment section. And to be clear, we've been full-time YouTubing for something like 7 years, meaning we understand the comment section is going to have some negative things for sure. In fact, the comment that says, "Your videos are bad and you are bald," I've probably read like 1,000 times, but it's a different thing when it's my people, it's Canadian people who are like calling me a traitor, like I'm like anti-Canada, like I hate the country. Like, whose team are you on, man? And so it is sad to me. It feels sad. Listen, I got this tattoo on my arm over here because so many years I would be traveling the world with my wife, making these videos, and anytime I told someone I was from Canada, in any part of the world, Asia or South America or Europe, everyone seemed to have a good impression of Canada. I've probably had the conversation like 50 times in my life where I said, "Oh yeah, I'm from Canada." And the response was, "Oh, I love Canada." And then I asked them, "Have you ever been?" And they said, "Never." And I think it's amazing that people have such a good impression of my place based on what they've heard about it or the idea in their head they have about it, because they've never even stepped foot in the country. And so I feel very grateful to be Canadian, and it feels horrible to have so many comments calling me a traitor, supporting American products and supporting America. And so I don't really think it's feasible or even really healthy to try and respond back and type back to all the comments. I sort of think the only way forward is to make this video and sort of do it all at once, because probably most people who are commenting have already made their mind up, and no matter what I explain, they're just gonna tell me off. With that being said, Trump was inaugurated early January, and like I mentioned, our trip was planned for early February. I think we left February 9th, to be exact. Anyway, we had a good month or so to cancel this trip because my memory says almost from day one, Trump was saying these things about Canada. At least in his first week, he was, in my memory. So anyway, we did talk about not doing this trip because for the past 1,500 videos that my wife and I have made, we have done really nothing very controversial. We're not politically minded people. We're certainly not posting videos that are controversial to earn views. And so we didn't really want to get involved in any sort of drama like that. Our idea was to go ahead with the trip and just not even mention it. Our upload schedule is 3 videos a week and a live stream on Sunday. So we figured we would just stick to our schedule, make the generally positive videos we make. It's food stuff, it's travel stuff, it's family stuff, living in a bus stuff, and not really have any drama. But this strategy has failed us because we're getting crushed in the comment section. Now, before we left, we did talk about going to Mexico instead. Ivana and I are comfortable going to Mexico. My parents didn't love the idea of driving in between cities, sort of in the middle of nowhere, wandering around. They thought there might be a safety concern in Mexico. We also talked about the idea of staying in Canada, because in the summer, upcoming to now, Ivana and I will be doing road trips in Canada. The trouble is, in our bus, with so much glass all around it, because it's a converted shuttle bus, it's really not great in the cold. And in February, a road trip in Canada, you could have snow and ice on the roads, you can have short days. It's just not the same trip at all, being in Florida or in Texas compared to being in, I don't know, Winnipeg in February or something. So we're not able to, we sort of felt like we had to go ahead with the trip. We looked into shipping our rigs to Europe, but not financially feasible. And so our intention was to just go ahead with the trip and sort of pretend the whole tariff thing never happened. We were sort of hoping it would go away, but it seems to be getting more and more snowball effect is happening. And so a lot of times when we make our videos, we think about the ending scene first. We'll do a food section, we'll do an adventure section, we'll do a city walk section. At the end, we'll go to a certain restaurant for sunset, and we know that's going to be a good way to button up the video. Although in this instance, I don't really have a good way to end it. The only thing I can say that maybe is some sort of positive message is, naturally, we've bumped into like dozens and dozens of Americans on our trip who can see our license plate as well as ask us where we're from. And we tell them we're from Canada, and only one person has brought up the 51st state thing. The governor of Canada, all these things Trump is saying. Only one person mentioned it. Everyone else is saying things like, oh, my sister lives in Canada, or oh, my brother works for a company that's got an office in Canada, or oh, I went to Vancouver one time. And so the people we're meeting are not being negative to us. We're not feeling negative towards them. I think my point is, like, there's the political thing up here, and then there's the personal thing, which my experience in the States for the past month has not changed. American people are still very friendly and very warm and hospitable, and they still seem to love Canadians, despite the fact that politically things are not going very smoothly. Now, the one guy who did mention the 51st state thing, he indicated he was not a Trump supporter, and he said, and I quote, "We love Canadians just the way they are." So maybe that's the message we'll end on. He came to our bus and actually gave our daughter a little present and said, "We love Canadians just the way you are." He said, "We're not taking over your country, man." So I don't know if that's a good message to end on. I wanted to make this video because, man, we're getting crushed in the comment section, and we got one more month in the States. It's now early March. We'll be back in Canada early April when the weather is getting better and we can do some more Canadian stuff. So the next month of videos, it's going to be a lot more comments, but hopefully people will see this video and they can see me addressing it, and then we can just sort of move forward. And so with all that being said, there you have it, everybody. Okay, bye.